Imagine being 19, trusted to care for a family's kids, only to have them publicly blame you when their son goes missing for an hour. They called me careless, ruined my reputation, and left me with nothing. That was me. Heartbroken, humiliated, but not broken. I turned that pain into a movement that changed thousands of lives and made them face me on live TV. Want to know how I got the ultimate justice? Stick around. This story will blow you away. Screen fades to black. Title card appears with dramatic sound effect. Hey everyone, I'm Lily Thompson. I'm 26, living in Denver, and I'm the founder of a nonprofit that's saving kids' lives across the country. But 7 years ago, I was just a teenage babysitter trying to make ends meet until one night changed everything. Today, I'm sharing a real-life story from my life, a story of betrayal, resilience, and the kind of triumph that feels like a deep breath after years of holding it in. If you've ever been unfairly blamed, underestimated, or had your reputation torn apart, this one's for you. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's dive into a story that might just touch your heart. Ready? Here we go. I grew up in a small town outside Denver, where the streets were lined with tidy lawns, and the air smelled of pine and summer barbecues. My family wasn't rich. My mom worked as a nurse. My dad is a carpenter, and I was the oldest of 3. Always helping out. At 19, I was a babysitter, the go-to for half the neighborhood. I loved kids, their giggles, their wild imaginations, the way they'd cling to you when they were scared. I was good at it, too. Parents trusted me, kids adored me, and I was saving every penny for college. The Harris family was my best gig. They were the kind of wealthy you couldn't miss. Big house on the hill, marble countertops, a pool that sparkled under the Colorado stars. Mr. Harris, Richard, was a lawyer with a deep voice and a handshake that felt like a contract. Mrs. Harris, Elaine, was polished, with blonde hair always swept into a perfect bun, and a smile that never reached her eyes. They had 2 kids, Sophie, a 10-year-old with a sharp wit, and Ethan, a 6-year-old bundle of energy who loved dinosaurs. I babysat for them every weekend, playing hide and seek, reading bedtime stories, and tucking them in with a flashlight under the covers. The Harrises treated me well at first. Elaine would hand me crisp $50 bills, saying, "You're a godsend, Lily." Richard would nod, his eyes distracted but kind. I felt like part of their world, even if I was just the babysitter in thrift store jeans and a faded hoodie. But looking back, I should have seen the signs. Elaine's compliments always had a edge, like when she'd say, "You're so good with the kids, considering your background." I brushed it off, telling myself it didn't matter. I was there for Sophie and Ethan, not for their approval. Then came the night that broke me. It was a warm July evening, the neighborhood buzzing with a block party, music blaring, kids running through sprinklers, parents sipping wine on patios. The Harrises were hosting, their backyard packed with guests. They asked me to watch Sophie and Ethan, keep them entertained while they mingled. I was used to it, chasing the kids around, making sure they didn't sneak too many cookies. But that night, Ethan was extra restless, darting through the crowd, his dinosaur toy clutched in his hand. I kept an eye on him, but the party was chaos. Laughter, clinking glasses, 100 voices overlapping. I turned to help Sophie untangle a balloon string, and when I looked back, Ethan was gone. My heart dropped, a cold sweat prickling my skin. I called his name, my voice sharp over the music. "Ethan, where are you?" I searched the backyard, the house, the street. My sneakers pounded the grass, my breath hitching as I pushed through guests. After what felt like forever but was only an hour, someone found him. He'd wandered to a neighbor's yard, chasing a firefly, safe and sound. I scooped him up, my hands shaking, his little arms wrapping around me as he giggled, oblivious. But the Harrises weren't relieved. They were furious. I stood in their kitchen, the party still humming outside, my heart pounding as Elaine loomed over me. Her face was tight, her voice low and venomous. How could you lose him, Lily? An hour. Anything could have happened. "I'm so sorry," I stammered, my cheeks burning. "I was watching him, but—" Richard cut me off, his lawyer voice cold and final. "You were careless. We trusted you." Careless. That word hit like a slap. I wanted to explain. The chaos, the crowd, how Ethan was safe. But they didn't listen. They sent me home, my hands trembling as I clutched my backpack. The $50 they owed me forgotten. The next day, it got worse. Elaine posted on the neighborhood's online forum, her words sharp as knives. "Warning. Lily Thompson lost our son during a party. She's not responsible enough to babysit. Hire at your own risk." The post spread like wildfire. By evening, my phone was silent. No text from parents, no bookings. Families I'd worked for years canceled without explanation. At the grocery store, neighbors avoided my eyes, their whispers trailing me like shadows. "That's the careless babysitter," I overheard one mom say, her voice dripping with disdain. My stomach twisted, my face hot with shame. I tried to defend myself. I replied to Elaine's post, my fingers shaking as I typed. It was a mistake. Ethan was safe. Please let me explain. But the comments piled on. Irresponsible, negligent. I'd never hire her. Elaine and Richard didn't respond, their silence louder than any accusation. My mom found me crying in my room, the glow of my laptop screen burning my eyes. "Lily, you didn't do anything wrong," she said, her hand warm on my shoulder. But I felt like I had. I felt like the failure they'd painted me to be. Every night, I'd replay that party, the moment I lost sight of Ethan. Elaine's icy stare. My chest ached, my throat tight with a mix of anger and helplessness. I was 19, and my reputation, everything I'd built, was gone. But lying in bed one night, staring at the cracks in my ceiling, something shifted. I wasn't careless. I wasn't a failure. The Harrises had lied, and I wasn't going to let their words define me. I made a promise to myself, my voice barely a whisper. I'll show them. I'll become someone they can't ignore. I didn't know where to start, but I knew I loved kids and wanted to protect them. That party had shaken me, but it also lit a fire. I enrolled in community college, scraping together savings for tuition, and started studying child psychology and safety management. I'd stay up late, my desk littered with coffee mugs and highlighters, reading about how kids think, how accidents happen, how to keep them safe. My eyes burned, my back ached, but every page felt like a step toward redemption. I also started volunteering, first at a local shelter, teaching kids safety games, then at community centers, running workshops for parents. I'd stand in front of tired moms and dads, my voice shaky at first, explaining how to child-proof homes or spot signs of distress. They listened, nodded, thanked me. For the first time since that night, I felt like I was making a difference. By 22, I had an idea, a nonprofit called Safe Steps, dedicated to child safety awareness and training. I started small, renting a tiny office with peeling paint and a flickering light. I wrote grants, my hands cramping from typing, and begged local businesses for donations. Slowly, Safe Steps grew. Workshops became seminars. Seminars became programs in schools. I trained caregivers, created safety checklists, and launched a website with free resources. My mom helped with flyers, her pride shining through her tired eyes. By 26, Safe Steps was a name people knew. Schools across Colorado invited me to speak. News channels interviewed me, calling me the child safety advocate. A state senator even cited my work in a speech about community programs. Every milestone felt like a brick in the wall I was building, not just for me, but for kids like Ethan, for parents who trusted caregivers like I'd been. Safe Steps was my life, but the Harrises were never far from my mind. Their accusations still stung, a scar that ached when I saw their names in the local paper. Richard and Elaine Harris, pillars of the community, funding charities with their wealth. I didn't want revenge in the petty sense. I wanted them to see what I'd become, to know the girl they blamed wasn't broken. One morning, I got an email that stopped me cold. It was from the Harris Family Foundation, their glossy charity arm. They wanted to partner with Safe Steps for a public safety campaign, a series of events to promote child safety across Denver. They'd seen my work on the news, praised our innovative approach, and offered funding. They had no idea I was the founder. My heart raced, my hands trembling as I read the email again. This was it, the chance to face them, not as the 19-year-old they'd shamed, but as the woman I'd become. I could have said no, let them find another partner, but I wanted them to see me. I wanted them to know. I replied, my tone professional. Safe Steps would be honored to partner. I look forward to discussing details. I signed it, Lily Thompson, founder. Let them figure it out. The campaign planning was intense. I worked late, my office lit by a single lamp, crafting presentations and safety guides. The Harris's team was all business. Emails, contracts, no mention of the past. I wondered if they'd connected the dots, but their messages stayed formal, distant. I kept my cool, my voice steady in calls, but inside I was buzzing with anticipation. The main event was a televised gala at Denver City Hall, a glitzy affair with politicians, donors, and media. Safe Steps would present our work, and the Harrises would co-sponsor. Their foundation's logos splashed across banners. I spent the week before rehearsing my speech, my reflection staring back from my bedroom mirror, my hands gripping note cards. You've got this, I told myself. This is your moment. Pause. Music builds. The night of the gala, I walked into City Hall, my heels clicking on the marble floor, my navy dress hugging my frame. The room buzzed with chatter, the air thick with perfume and ambition. I saw Richard and Elaine across the room, mingling with donors, their smiles polished but tense. They hadn't seen me yet. My heart pounded, but I held my head high, my note cards tucked away. I didn't need them anymore. The gala was in full swing, chandeliers casting golden light, waiters weaving through the crowd with trays of champagne. I stood backstage, my hands clammy, my breath shallow, as the MC introduced me. Lily Thompson, founder of Safe Steps, a leader in child safety advocacy. The crowd applauded as I stepped onto the stage, the spotlight hot on my face. I scanned the audience, my eyes locking on Richard and Elaine in the front row. Their smiles froze, their faces paling as recognition hit. Elaine's hand gripped her wine glass so tightly I thought it might crack. Richard's jaw tightened, his eyes wide with shock. I took a deep breath, my voice steady but warm. Good evening, I began. 7 years ago, I was a babysitter, trusted to keep children safe. One night, a mistake cost me my reputation. I was called careless, irresponsible, unfit, but I didn't let that define me. The room went quiet, every eye on me. I felt the weight of their stares, but it didn't shake me. I founded Safe Steps to ensure no child, no caregiver, no family feels that kind of fear or shame. We've trained thousands of parents, protected countless kids, and built a community that believes in second chances. The crowd erupted in applause, but I kept my eyes on the Harrises. Elaine's face was flushed, her lips trembling. Richard looked down, his hands clasped tightly. I didn't call them out. I didn't need to. My success, my presence, said it all. As I stepped off the stage, the MC announced a surprise. The Harris Family Foundation would make a statement. Richard and Elaine took the stage, their steps hesitant, the cameras rolling for live TV. Richard cleared his throat, his voice unsteady. Before we continue, he said, we owe an apology. 7 years ago, we wrongly blamed a young woman, Lily Thompson, for a mistake that wasn't her fault. We were wrong, and we're sorry. Elaine's eyes glistened, her voice barely above a whisper. Lily, your work is extraordinary. We're honored to support Safe Steps. The crowd gasped, murmurs rippling through the room. I stood in the wings, my heart pounding, a faint smile on my lips. I didn't need their apology to feel whole, but it felt good, damn good, to hear it. After the gala, Elaine approached me, her hands twisting together. Lily, she said, her voice breaking, I didn't know what you'd become. I'm so sorry. I nodded, my voice calm but firm. It's not about the past. It's about the kids we're protecting now. She blinked back tears, nodding. Richard stood behind her, silent, his usual confidence gone. I walked away, my heels echoing in the hall, feeling lighter than I had in years. The girl they'd called careless had just stood taller than they ever would. This wasn't about revenge in the way most people think. It was about reclaiming my truth, my worth, and turning pain into purpose. The Harris's accusation broke me at 19, but it also pushed me to become someone stronger, someone who could protect others. Safe Steps isn't just a non-profit. It's a promise to every kid, every caregiver, that they're enough. I saw it in the families we've helped, the parents who thank me with tears in their eyes, the kids who run to me with drawings of safety superheroes. Even the Harrises, in their apology, showed me that truth has a way of catching up. So, what's the lesson? You don't need to shout to be heard. Sometimes the loudest justice is living a life so impactful that those who wronged you can't look away. Keep going, keep building, and the truth will always find its way. If this story gave you goosebumps, smash that like button and drop a comment below. Have you ever turned a wrong into something right? Or seen someone get the justice they deserved? Tell us about it. If you love real-life stories of triumph, redemption, and sweet, sweet payback, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.